Namaste, Neeraj. It's great to have you here
Namaste.
today on another beautiful topic, and would love to know your insights on ways of strengthening our communications and how good communication can build relationships, and certain not good communication could break relationship of different kinds. So that's the focus for today. And moving forward
Also,
with
yeah,
our first
go
question.
ahead. Hmm.
What are the five major factors that are affecting the larger collective when it comes to building relationships and with good communication
So, see, as a communication
related to
expert, one thing
communication?
I get it. So as a communication expert, I have realized one very simple thing that first I'll tell you the counterintuitive answers. So, what is the meaning of counterintuitive? That some other answers which are looks right opposite to it, but actually it works. So, first thing which I think you all have to do is that um, we have to work towards. So, when you say communication, we think about talking. One, the first thing comes to our mind is it's talk or discussion. So which is equally important. I'm not saying, but I'm going to say something else. So I'm going to say something called non-verbal cues, which I play. I think I play it a lot in my life, and I um tell people to also do it. Small gestures. Not I'm not saying the bigger and you go for holidays or you buy a diamond ring or something, but more than that, a very small gestures.
Yeah, that's just the
Or
physical part of it. But what are those five major factors when
yeah,
it
I'm
comes
coming
to
up. So the first very important thing which
those?
people need to realize is this that there are non-verbal cues which you need to work towards it. Okay, as we have discussed last time, also something called PINs, pre-incident indicator. So if I'm going to use the same incident for positive, that was for like avoiding the conflict and thing, but
Right.
PINs can be also used for mending ways. It works both the ways. So it works like, for example, pre-incident indicators, you could find out because if somebody is sulking or somebody is having some problem, um, normally what we think uh, that we keep on saying, oh, no, 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 I'm not responsible. I'm doing everything fine. That's the way we look at it. So the five very important thing which you need to do is to first work towards non-verbal cues or small gestures. Okay, so that plays a very important. I told you the same pins model can be applied here to make sure that people should realize what are the this which is creating attention. So, for example, people have some objections. I was into off and on relationship. I felt that the relationship doesn't get destroyed by a bigger and larger problems. It destroys by very small and minute and subtle problems. Is people do not pay attention to it and then they don't want to work towards it. So that's the first thing. Uh, third, which is very important, I keep on saying, is something called power dynamics and inequality. So, e equality in communication is very important. So, you could divide saying how much you are saying, what you're saying, you're using too much I or not. That's another factor. We keep on using so much I in us. And I'm doing this, I'm doing that,
Uh-huh.
you are doing that. So, if you can keep aside these and keep equality in discussion, because I've learned one thing in my life. Largely, I do talk for my work, but I believe that somewhere Abraham Lincoln has said that I know what I know, but I don't know what others knows it. Unless I would not give patient listening, I
Hmm.
would one minute. Yeah, Sunita. Yeah, it's a C18 Evershine one. Okay, I'll write it down. I'm in the meeting. I'll call you back. Just give me. I'll share you the address. Yeah. So basically, the whole idea was to create in a such a way that you create equality. Now, I don't know. I've realized one. In fact, I was thinking while coming, I was driving, that people are so stingy about even praising people. They don't praise. They don't have sense of gratitude.
Yeah.
No, gratitude is not for others. Please, people think, oh, I'm gratitude because I want to make some. It's very good quality you need to carry in your heart. Like the Sunita who called me, I was staying with her for 1.5 months. I had no house. It's not that I had no money, but I came here for some work and then I was staying with her. Now, when I meet somebody else, I tell this. A lot many times people say, "Oh, I've heard this story." I said, "I know you heard this story, but I want to keep this warmth." I mean, I keep on repeating those things which people have done. Like we keep on repeating the things which the bad happened to us. Do you realize it, or I don't know? But I
That's
work
true.
towards other
Majority,
point.
yes, may
Yeah,
complain or
yeah.
crib
But
about old
I
stuff.
yeah, where
Yeah,
I make sure to do more towards what somebody has done in my life.
right.
So
And
that's the
that's
way it
such
should
a
be.
unique quality. Like more and more people need to cultivate that. Like
Yeah, because
I'm big on that point. Like if I'm not in a group of like I love to be around people who are like appreciating good things about each other. So yeah, for last 1 year, yeah, I've been working that for myself and making that as a habit in my yoga classes as well. So
yeah,
totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
because equality is one part. Second very important thing that people see, we all are flawed. First thing we have to understand that there's nothing called perfection and nature. I don't believe in that sense of God because the men created a God, not other way around. People think that God created us. Actually, we have created God because of our own vested interest, according to my understanding. I may be wrong, I may be, but I think that's what it is. So anyway, so
Perspective.
what I was trying to tell you that yeah, we are flawed, and the nature itself is towards evolution. It evolves. There's nothing called perfection in life. There's nothing. Everything is evolving and changing,
Moving.
and there's a dynamic in the life. Dynamism is always in the life. So to put this argument into perspective, that we all are flawed. We make mistakes, but I think that transparency is a key. If we can have more than the honesty and all this stuff, I believe transparency is very important. And I don't know, I keep on saying this everybody that you have to have one person in your life whom you can be absolutely truthful. Absolutely. I want to use the word naked, but then I'm not using it.
Naked truth.
It's like you have to be, yeah, you have to be absolutely, yeah, you have to be absolutely like what you are.
Yes. Yeah. It's very
So
comforting
that is what,
also to just somewhere the
yeah,
heart wants to be brutally honest, you know. It's at least somewhere. Yeah.
and then it's a very catharsis kind of feeling also. Like
Yeah.
because where you have somebody to really, put your heart there and, just open your heart. You can talk about anything that you want to do it.
Hmm.
So these are the five factors, according to my understanding, is going to play a very important role. I'll repeat again. So transparency is one. Equality in the communication skill, which you need to work towards it. Uh, see, the most I told you the pins also, which is going to play a very important role. That you have to also understand that what is really bothering. Like for example, I was having a relationship with one of the girl, and then we kind of broke off. And then I told her that if you need to address my concern also, if I'm ready to address your concerns, you need to address my concerns as well.
Hmm.
So the idea is that we need to address the concern of each other in a more how to say realistic way. I'm not saying that you should the people use compromise, and I don't think that that's going to work. That's not. We don't have to compromise. We have to find the ways around it because compromise doesn't work. That's why I gave you, in fact, if you remember
No
the
one
first thing
has
I was
to.
talking about, that's small gestures. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no compromise. But then, see, we have discussed last time also that equality doesn't mean identical. Like I can go to zoo at 5 o'clock and be there and walk or go to 3 o'clock. As a woman, you cannot go it. Now you cannot blame me for this that oh I cannot go at 3 o'clock. That's not my problem. I haven't done anything. It's the society which has created that kind of problem. Maybe
I'm a
Africa.
little different on that
Yeah,
because, yeah, at least for
yeah.
myself, I have
Yeah.
gone like tested
No,
myself to be free enough, and
I,
I wish more
I just
for
given it.
women to do that. You know, it's
No,
it's
I'm
it's
saying
up to women to push the bars. So yeah,
no, I didn't say that you cannot do it. I'm just saying that if there is apprehension,
it's
there is a
individual.
problem, there is something. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was saying something else. I'm not saying with the individual. Like if you think there's somewhere, like for example, you cannot be bare chest, I can be bare chest for a simple reason. So it's not my fault that you cannot be bare chest. It's your biology, which is you are the part of it. So I was giving the Jew example out of nothing. I'm not trying to give that Jew is a big example. I was simply saying that there are a lot of things you cannot do, and there are a lot of things I cannot do as a man. There's nothing. So my biggest problem, a biggest thing which people I keep on saying all the forum that we have to understand we are equal, absolutely equal, but we are not identical. By default, we have taken these two
Right.
words as a synonymous, which is not true.
Yeah, and there's
There's so many
this
things.
push towards Advaita and somehow making people look the same and be the same, which is not happening
Yes,
at all.
yes, yes, yes,
Duality
yes.
has its beauty. So
Yeah, and duality is so beautiful.
it
Difference,
is.
in fact, I keep on saying this line, and everybody likes it. The line is that we have to maximize and celebrate our differences. I don't have to be like somebody else. I have to be like the way I am. So my idea is very simple. That first very important thing you need to do is to have a very small gestures, physical gestures, whatever the gesture could be. You can design the way you want to design it. I'm not saying that you have to copy somebody. You can find out. One of the big problem with the communication skills I've learned over a period of time that people try to copy and they say, okay, this guy has done it, I'll do it. It doesn't work that way. You need to find out some ways to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was the answer of your first question.
Wow. I mean, that was really brilliant. Very clear. Going to
Yeah.
our second question. What needs to improve in the youth and the young age groups in terms of communication between them when it comes to friendships or younger, like 20s and 30s age group?
So, first, let me discuss the problem with the youth today. So, the problem with the youth today is that if you look at their attention span is shrinking. Like, if you look at the entire social media, so they're from 20-second to 15-second to 5-second. That's what is happening, right? And what I'm going to borrow a term from yoga called avidya. Now, avidya is not absence of knowledge, it's an illusion of knowledge. So, one of the
Hmm.
problem, in fact, when I interact with the youth today, I realize that they're full of informations. Like I made a one video also recently that uh, the knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Okay, people do not know it,
Very
but
few.
wisdom says that you don't have to put tomato into fruit salad. So that's the way it should work. So I was traveling once and there was a guy and he was looking at mustard plantation and I asked him what is it. So he started googling it. So idea is that that's what the first very big problem, according to my understanding, that they think that they have so much knowledge, information rather, I would say knowledge, but they have so much information and they know everything. So I was teaching in college for a while. I was teaching at Thakur College in Kandivali. And I've seen when they used to come to my classes, they were like, I mean, they were not interested. So
Not
today they're
interested,
being,
as in?
yeah, in study. And it's not that they
Okay.
were, and I was teaching French. That was my subject. So they were more for, I won't say even for the fun. For example, I was in the college and the school. I also had like great time, but I had also understanding that there's something else is taught which I don't know. That was always there with me. I don't know. With all my peers group, we had this thing that yes, this guy knows me, knows more than me, and knows me also. Now
Hmm.
today's youth, I've understood that they think that they know more than the teacher. They try to test you more. They're more like teachers today is becoming more of a servant, subservient to. It's not a bad thing or good thing. I don't want to get into it, but then it's because of so much information uploading is there in our mind because of you watch like you don't watch, you consume the content on the net.
And a lot of
So
things
that's
are
the one problem.
somehow readily available. Like, we can't even deny that part where it's like a lot of things are just available on internet and people want to find the quicker way of sorting
That's
things out
exactly
in
what I'm
their
saying.
own life, you know.
That's why I'm borrowing this term called avidya because it's an illusion of knowledge. See, see. The knowledge comes with the experience. Like there was something very beautiful I read somewhere. I really liked it that you may be more intelligent than me. You may be more qualified digitally with me. You may be uh, more informed than me. You may know a lot of things, but then you may have less experience than me because experience has no substitute. Maybe tomorrow, what's going to happen? You might get a chip, and then entire maths can be downloaded in your mind. You never know. It can
Great,
happen.
you brought
In
that
fact,
out about microchips. It's like,
yeah,
at least individually,
but
I'm like, I being a computer science person, I'm like, no, no for it. Not at all.
yeah. So I'm saying that, but that's not like it doesn't mean that like earlier, if you look at the conventional wisdom was like where the people were respecting elders not because of anything, because of their sheer experiences. And at least in my generation, I'm saying people, I mean, we were coming where we were trying to say, okay, we know. I mean, the kind of illusion was also there in my generation also where the people think, oh, my father, I know more than him. But then I have also always one point to understand that there is something he's saying. At least I need to listen. Now they're not letting to listen. They're glued too much toward the computer, and I use also laptop, computer, everything. But if I'm exposing too much to that situation, I would not be able to listen something else. So I think, according to me, the remedy, if you are saying that's a problem I was discussing, remedy is that make sure that youth today has to have some space and they have to find out some space to do something else apart from like I've seen they're not coming to gym also. I go to gym every day. I've seen even lot many youths are not coming to the gym also. They are, I'm not saying everyone, but there are a lot of are not coming. They're towards more into tech and technology or something, which is not bad. But I think they have to take out some time which is away from then this
Electronics.
anything. It they can play something. They can they can go and watch a live matches. They don't have to watch a match right in the screen. They can do anything, but you have to change it. I like something very beautiful that the wise people don't do the different thing. They do the thing differently. You understand what I mean?
Yes. And I see that
So
you're emphasizing that the physical experience is way more precious and will always be precious than this technological screen thing.
absolutely, absolutely. Because it is not you. See, it's like I was the guy who started forest bathing in India, and I was telling people that you have to involve your five senses. Now, when you watch, I'll give you very little bit technical on that. So, if you look at watch, this sense of smell is not there. The sense of touch is not there. So, we are not deploying two senses. We are just deploying one sense. Like,
Hmm.
look at your pornography. Now, why pornography is bad? I have a very different taste on it.
And
The
it's been really
pornography is bad.
harmful. It's just
One is
disrupting.
forget about the psychological part of it. There's a one psychological thing people do not realize it. Is I was watching something yesterday, a film on love story or something. So it is basically is the third person narrative of the sex. You're not doing it. Somebody else is doing it. You're enjoying it. I don't know
Hmm.
if you understand. So it's a third person narrative, which is actually a big problem. People don't really
Yes.
understand this concept. It's not I'm
Brain,
doing it.
it's just,
No, no,
I think,
I
filling
yeah,
brain with crap, I think.
no, no.
Instead of
Forget
knowing
about
real
forget
stuff.
about okay, no, no. Forget about that part of it. I'm simply that thing. I'm saying the third person is doing it, right? You're not doing it.
Hmm.
It's not happening to your body.
Huh. Physical experience.
Yeah. So if it's like somebody else eating and you're enjoying it, how can you enjoy if somebody else is eating? And everything has become so aesthetically driven. One of the big problem I've realized today that everything is so like look at this is the way the
Artificial
father
and
has to be there.
plastic. You can
Yeah,
see that
plastic.
plastic
Yeah,
even in
beautiful.
human beings. So
Yeah, beautiful.
it's just
Like my father doesn't look like the father of some soap opera. My mother doesn't look like that. But if I'm so exposed to it, I would start expecting something for it.
mm,
Like women has become more commodity. People say women are fighting towards being non-commodity. But if you look at the whole depiction of female done by female only, the male are not doing. Female are themselves making their objectification.
correct.
So
Somewhere,
who's making
yeah.
objectify? Yeah.
somewhere women only have to step back and like see where is all this looking good culture taking
Yes.
people
Yeah.
towards.
There's like Fair and Lovely, it has been hoopla about it and they changed it. That's a very beautiful thought. I mean, somebody has changed it and they accepted it and they changed it. But then who's objectifying it? See, I don't know. There's something I wanted to tell you last time also. There's something called victim syndrome. Women are facing or making themselves a victim. Victim
You
syndrome is a
had
very
mentioned
beautiful.
Stockholm syndrome last time.
Yeah, so there's something called victim syndrome also. We want
Okay.
to feel victim. It looks so nice to us.
Oh, poor
So
me
the remedy
mentality.
for yeah, for me the remedy for youth is very simple. You have to do something physical, whatever it is. You decide. I'm not saying start doing swimming, start running, do something. And I'm not saying that go away from your text or go away from your internet. No, do whatever you want to do. But take out sometimes something for else also.
Hmm.
Like, for example, I've understood sex has become such a huge because of the media, has become such a huge thing. It's a small part of the whole life. But if you look at, we have been
Hmm. Yeah, nowadays
subjugated by
it's
sex.
quite, yeah, there are certain movements where it's like good education is being spread about sexuality, but there's a lot which is shadow and, like you said, so right on that point, like unnecessary emphasis.
Yeah, like for example, earlier, I mean, this is one of my friend actually told me. I really liked it. Earlier, for example, menstruation, people are not talking about it. Oh, so bad they're putting it to under the carpet. It was bad, but now people are overdoing it. That's also so wrong. No, you don't have to overdo anything. What is what is what? That's it.
Balance, yeah. Control.
Why overdoing it? I mean, I don't understand why over. Like when we talk about the sexual education, people say like I was watching something yesterday. Yeah, the same movie. There's an old lady, 90 years old lady, and trying to say that have you done the sex before the marriage? Have you done that? It's very important. You buy a car and then you should test drive and all this stuff. I don't understand where the discussion is going. Is their prerogative to decide what they have to do or they don't have to do?
Hmm.
Why? I mean, there is something called a beautiful line I've read. It's called moral policing. Okay. So people say moral policing is bad. Yeah, I agree. But then fashion policing is also bad, right? Because this is another extreme. That I have to be dressed up like this. Why it is you have to dress up like this? I don't understand. Whatever she is comfortable with, she'll dress up.
Hmm. Right.
Why mini skirt is only important to put into your grappet? I might like to wear a sari, I'll go in sari. So if the moral policing is bad, then the fashion policing is also bad. 1 minute, just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So here we are, continuing going forward. A third question: how good communication among people, peers, relationship partners can reduce extreme acts like having suicidal thoughts or isolation or feeling of loneliness, which we are seeing like an epidemic in India currently. So, how good communication can save us from all this?
This is extension of your earlier question. This is actually is the same thing. So if you do extreme of anything, would be more suicidal towards it. Because this is what is going to happen that there is missing of intrapersonal skill and interpersonal skills. So there are two kind of communication. 1 minute. Hmm. So there are two kind of communication. Things is called interpersonal communication, where there are people who are communicating between two people, right? For example, I'm talking to you and you're talking to me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little louder, please.
I'm saying so there are two kind of communication. One is interpersonal skill, where there are She's very fine, you know, like.
Yep.
So there are two kind of communication skills. One is called intrapersonal communication skill. Okay. Intra means, well, there are two people. Like, for example, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me. There is another skill which is called interpersonal skill.
Hmm.
So when you say interpersonal skill, it means that when two people are talking, intra is that when you're talking to myself, self-talk. Okay. So
Intra-personal.
in
Okay.
that, yeah. Inter means between two. Inter-marriage, you know, so intra-caste marriage. So intra-caste marriage where the marriage happens in the caste itself. And inter-caste marriage where the marriage happens between two different castes. Yeah. So the communication skills are broadly divided into two. Now both are missing because we are getting so much bombarded with our outside stuff.
Hmm.
We are continuously being fed into that. That's the reason I'm saying that if you can, like for example, I would have talked about meditation and all this stuff, but I that becomes a little bit mumbo jumbo and it doesn't appeal to everyone. So that's the reason I'm saying you have to find some ways to do something else also. Because
Hmm.
it's the information overload which is happening in the life.
So information
Information over
overload is what is causing loneliness and isolation like thoughts in
absolutely,
people.
absolutely. Like for example, who said I don't know, but I really like this statement. Uh, Buddha has said, or somebody has said, but it has been attributed to Buddha, is that what is poison? Somebody asking. He said poison is ratio. Do you get it?
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
understood? So the problem is that if I'm going to eat too much, it will be a food poisoning.
Hmm.
Because the problem happens when you do information overload, there is a cognitive overload. I don't know if you understand the cognitive overload. It means that amount of information which is coming is not being processed.
Fully.
It's like a food. If I'm going to use so much food, my body, my digestion would not be able to digest it properly.
Correct. And maybe we
Earlier,
don't need so much to know, really.
no, no. I come from very small village. I come from very poor family. And I'm proud of it. I'll tell you someday we'll talk about it. Why to become poor is very beautiful thing. People do not realize it, but I have got a lot of take on this. Anyway. So I come from that family and I realize and I'm extremely proud of it. So the problem is that what is happening that you won't be, it's like a simple example of food. If I'm going to eat too much, what is going to happen? My body won't be able to do it. And it reduces the productivity. In fact, people think if I'll have information, it's like there's a friend of mine, she was a doctor, and she said there's something called third year syndrome. I told you this or not.
No.
So third year
I'm
syndrome is
listening
the
to this
bite.
for the first time. Third year syndrome.
Yes, so it was like when you come, like when you do medical, when you come to like third year, you realize all the symptoms which you read in the disease is happening in your body because you're overthinking it,
Uh,
and body will start creating this hallucination that oh, I have a blood pressure, I have this, I have that, because she said that all the symptom is gonna come in my body because this is what I've been thinking throughout the day and throughout the night.
Obviously, yes. Very much so.
So it creates it's a counterproductive. That's what I'm saying. Too much information is not required. Too much knowledge. In fact, if you remember my book, I was talking about only saying the same thing. That
Hmm.
I don't want to give any answers. I want to give questions. Answer anybody can get it. That's what they think they get the answer. I'm not saying it's the right answer or wrong answer, but that is what it is.
On the same lines, I have like let this be for the viewers, for both our viewers who will be watching your videos in your contact list. Self inquiry is a great thing to do. Like if you can take out time for yourself and sit with yourself, self inquiry, asking questions which probably
No, no,
public you
no.
wouldn't have got to sit
That is
and
a second.
ask about.
No, no.
Is cool.
That's a second step. You're not
Hmm.
getting it. Again, we are giving some information. That's why if you go to those babas and gurus, they give you another information. You've already looked. First, you have to take a space. See, you want to like there is something called rob problem, which I've seen it. You must have got some dresses. Everybody has some dresses, which you bought it for a lot of enthusiasm, but you haven't even put it on once. It happened with you. So right now, giving the technique, first very important thing, you have to create a space.
Hmm.
All techniques works, all the techniques are good, but the problem right now what everybody is facing that we don't have space for it.
Mhm.
It's like getting a new furniture in your house. Like I stopped buying anything now. I never buy anything. I used to buy a lot of stuff. Now I don't buy anything. I mean, I'll make sure to either I get the semi-furnished house. I bought a one place at Noida, but after that I didn't buy anything because it's unnecessary. If you buy it, it's not going to work for you. And this is
Yeah.
called impulsive buying. So all techniques are good. What you're saying is a great technique, but that's the second step or third step or fourth step. Right now, the step is what you need to do is to create a space because
Decluttering
you
is
give
what is
another.
coming in my mind
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Declutter. Yes, correct. That's the right word. That's why somebody asks me something. I say, first you take out something else. You just do something else. Set yourself free. Yeah.
All right. So going forward for with next question, fourth question. Why is it that people, why is it that most people have become animal lovers but can't see the same level of innocence in people around them?
Yeah, so that's a very beautiful question. So I come from a village and I really like that idea that people used to have cows or bulls in their houses because cows used to give them milk and bulls used to help them in cultivation. But
Hmm.
slowly I realized I went there and realized they started using tractors and the milks are available, so they don't want to take a pain, right? So mostly human by nature is based on necessity. I mean, you must have heard the term called necessity is the mother of invention, right? So today, what's happening? Why people are going towards animals? Because what actually normally what happens, what we are lacking is what we're gonna desire, right? If I'm
Hmm.
lacking something, I would desire for it. So genuine love is missing. It's not there. But there are people who are stupid. There are people who are stupid and crazy. They try to do the things in a very stupid way. They keep on getting into the same kind of relationship, toxic relationship over and over. I've seen the people doing that also. But going towards animal was, according to me, is a great idea because now there is a time where you get the space. That's why if I say any women, if she has to do something, most of the women there it is, but I think they should adopt a pet. They should adopt a pet because that will give them a lot of space. Because you have to take out them out for them, so you play with them, you will do something. So it will take you away from without forcing you. They don't force. If I come late, sometimes I shoot for 12 hours, 14 hours, and then if I come, they're not going to sulk like a human. Oh, तुम 15 घंटे late हो गए. They will have the same love. वो बेचारे भूखे होंगे लेकिन 15 घंटे बाद भी आपको वैसे ही प्यार करेंगे. सो विदाउट फोर्सिंग, अब 15 घंटे आप किसी बच्चे को छोड़ के चले जाओ, किसी आदमी को छोड़ के चले जाओ, फिर देखो कमाल. तो मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि दिस इज अ वेरी गुड वे टू एक्चुअली डू सर्टेन थिंग दैट विल क्रिएट अ स्पेस फॉर यू.
Hmm.
So I think it's quite good thing which is happening. I think if somebody is realizing, it should not come from outside because again it's going to be information. If it is somebody is realizing and doing it, for example, it has changed my life. Maxi, my first son, I don't know if you've seen his picture. Yesterday I made some thing,
I do
and
check
he has
few of
changed
your
my life.
posts and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm aware of it.
So he has changed my life completely.
And there is
He has
animal
trans.
telepathy, animal telepathic communication, all these things coming around. So, which is also having this
Then
blend, a good synergy between humans and animals. So, it's a good thing.
वो थोड़ा
Something good is
वो थोड़ा
happening out of
मार्केटिंग
it.
है. वो
So,
थोड़ा सा मार्केटिंग है क्योंकि मुझे ये लगता है वो जो पेट के आसपास जो पूरा एक मार्केट क्रिएट किया गया वो ठीक है, मतलब उसकी अपनी एप्लीकेशन है, मैं उसको डिनाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन वो थोड़ा मार्केटिंग का पार्ट, वो ह्यूमनाइज, जैसे हम डॉग को ह्यूमन का बच्चा बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं. तो एक होता है कि हम या तो हम उसको बांध के रख देते हैं एकदम कि हम बांध के रख रहे हैं बाहर, एक तरीका वो होता है. दूसरा तरीका होता है हम उसको ह्यूमन जैसे करते हैं. अगर आप रील्स में देखिए वो सक्सेसफुल रील्स है जिसमें वो बच्चा आदमी जैसे कर रहा है. ऐसा नहीं करना है. वो डॉग है और वो
correct.
उसकी ब्यूटी है. अभी मैंने कहीं एक रील पढ़ी थी, मुझे अच्छी लगी वो रील. उसने बोला वो डॉग है, अगर कोई तुम्हें उसको डॉग बोलता है तो कोई बुरा मत मानने की जरूरत नहीं है. वो है डॉग और डॉग उसकी खूबसूरती है. जैसे मैंने बोला मेरी गरीबी मेरी खूबसूरती है, इसमें कोई मुझे उसके लिए मुझे अपोलोजेटिक फील करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आई डोंट
It's
वांट टू
just a
फील
phase of
अपोलोजेटिक
life.
फॉर इट. नो, इट्स नॉट अ फेज ऑफ लाइफ, इट्स अ ब्यूटीफुल थिंग. I'm not poor, but I'm just saying it. If somebody's poor, because that's a process which you need to go through if you want to do it. I'm not saying you have to live in poverty. I didn't say that. What I said that, okay, I'll give you a very simple thing you will like. And this is not being told by me. This is told by one of our president. I don't want to name her, but she said something very beautiful. She said that if you are poor sometime, or you are coming from a less privileged society, rejection is not a big problem for you. For certain people, rejection, oh my God, I got rejected. They get into depression. Somebody tell them no, oh, they feel into such a problematic
Yeah.
areas. Having less food is good. Today people say, okay, eat less. No, I have less food, so it's I'm going to eat less.
Makes sense.
So that's what she said, and she said very beautifully. She said these are things comes ready-made to me, that somebody rejects me, somebody says no to me, somebody gives me less food. I'm happy because this is what I'm expecting. This is what I've been going through. I'm not going to feel so bad. Oh, that guy said, how dare he said no to me?
Hmm.
Because I've been rejected. I've been told no thousands times. It is a way of life. I realize no is a part of the whole growth.
Yes, totally
But
agree
I
with
don't, I
that.
don't want, I don't want to touch that part. But since you provoked me, so I'm just saying it. So it is nothing. See, everything is beautiful as long you need to know how it works. So
Yes.
the marketing around pet is not a bad idea, but then it's going too far now. Which actually that's what the whole problem with the human, that I keep on saying, अगर तुम्हें चाय बनाना अच्छी तरह आता है तो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेरिमेंट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एक बार अच्छी बन गई ना, उसको सेट कर लो फॉर्मूले को. हम उसमें जबरदस्ती R&D करके उसको और बर्बाद कर देते हैं. मैं हमेशा इस बात को मानता हूँ. आई डोंट नो इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट. इट्स समथिंग you find it right, it works, let it be that way.
Keeping
Don't
it simple.
overdo it that. Yeah, don't overdo the thing.
Uh, yeah, keeping it simple. It's like people. I was just having a conversation with one friend last week. He said it like very well. He's like, people are very good at making simple things complicated.
Yes, exactly.
And now it's
Exactly.
getting to a point where now everybody's like, no, we want the simpler things in
Yeah,
life.
they're buying 1 crore dogs from somewhere else, Siberia, and the dogs are not like you. If you keep the dogs who are good, and they would look good. If you treat them very well, they would look very good. You don't have to buy 1 crore dog to push your ego. Then it's a trophy wife. It's like a
Whoa.
trophy son. It's like a trophy animal, trophy pet.
We'll continue this conversation in our next session
Yeah,
coming in
sure.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah.